Hi everybody, here's a quick video for Anemi. I like this shot a lot, but we can still tweak it some more to bring out the light. So the first question I ask is, where's the focal point? And we would say it's this wonderful reflection of the far shore of this lake here, and the horizon, the lakeshore. So the second question is, if that's the focal point, is it the source of light of the picture? Do we get a sense of light emanating from that area, or is it kind of in a ditch, light speaking? So another thing is the horizon line is just about parallel, but not quite. So let's start with that. So I'm going to click on the crop tool, click on the picture. Click on the crop tool, click on the picture, come to the corner, and you see this double-ended arrow is curved. Click and drag just a little bit here to straighten that just a tiny bit. That looks about right. Okay, next. I'm going to take the elliptical marquee instead of the lasso, because this is an elliptical shape. I come to the center, hold down the Alt key, click and drag out to something like that, okay, to encompass this, and select and mask at the top in the options bar, feather it out. I'm working with a low-res version, so my feather amount is going to be a different number than yours, but just eyeball to see how far I'm taking it down right to here, and say OK to that. And then I'm going to say Control H to hide the selection, Control L to bring up the light. And that's right over here. So now I'm driving up the highlights, which is right here, and not going too far. Normally, many edits, I go right to the edge of the mountain. I think in this case that might be a bit much, so I'm going to stop somewhere around in here, but we're not quite done yet. Control D for deselect, because I mentioned that this shore of the lake is so much about the focal point. I'm going to highlight it just one more time. So again, the elliptical marquee, come to the center, hold down the Alt key, and I'm just taking another selection right in here. Click Select and Mask. Feather it right down to almost nothing, but I still have some area here. Hide it, Control H, Control L. And just a tiny bit more light. See how that tree right here came alive, and these bushes by the side here. Okay. And finally, one thing that you can't almost ever go wrong with if you are subtle about it, I take this elliptical marquee one more time, click and drag an oval like this, and we're going to invert this. So I'm going to hit Select and Mask one more time, invert it, feather, pretty far out, and then OK. Hide it, and because we're going to darken, I'm going to use Image Adjustment Brightness Contrast. And that's over on another screen. Let me pull it in right here. Turn down the brightness just a little bit. Okay, you can see the difference. Control Z, before and after, before and after. So it's not a ton of vignetting, just enough to give it a subtle reinforcement around the edges. In the darkroom, we call that burning around the edges. I have my students in the darkroom do that on virtually every shot. Okay, let's see the difference here. When I pasted the shot in, it looked like this, and now it looks like that. Another question is how saturated this is. Do you like this amount of green? This is a subjective question, or do you want to calm it down a little bit? I'll show you what calming it down looks like. The shortcut is Control U. It's hue saturation. Again, I've got another monitor. This is on, Control U. Dialing back the saturation. May make it more realistic looking. Here's the before, Control Z, and oops, I just desaturated the vignette part because this is another mistake when you hide your selections. Sometimes I forget they're there, so let me do that again. Deselect, Control U, and then dial back the saturation just a little bit. This is before and after. So, like I said, that's entirely up to you and very subjective, and you're the artist. But remember to make your horizon lines parallel and to think about the focal point. And think of yourself as a theater director sitting in the back of the theater, and your primary actor who's about to give a monologue comes out on stage, and as a lighting director you want to make sure the spotlight is on that actor and de-emphasize other elements of the set. So think of editing that way, and that could go a long way to helping you. All right, take care.